He didn't really say specifically what those threats were from North Korea, but he did cite some of the political domestic issues, like saying how the budget was at a standstill right now because the National Assembly was not able to pass it. He did talk about how the main opposition Democratic Party was paralyzing the South Korean government, but there was no mention about threats from North Korea. Now, if you look at President Yoon Suk Yeol's ratings in the past few months, it really has been at the lowest ever. It was hovering around 20% recently, but it even fell below 20%. And in a way, President Yoon Suk Yeol's government has been at a standstill, and he was like a lame duck president since the general elections in April, when the main opposition party won a landslide victory in parliament, getting control of the National Assembly. And so President Yoon Suk Yeol has not been able to pass any of the reform bills that he wanted to, and he just felt that he was not able to do anything because of the National Assembly and because of the opposition by the main opposition Democratic Party. And in fact, here in South Korea, there have been calls every weekend on Saturdays out in the streets of Seoul. People were starting to gather, and the number of people gathering here in South Korea were growing by numbers because they were saying that he needed to be impeached, he needed to step down, because they're calling for a special investigation into the wrongdoings of the First Lady Kim Gon-hee and some of the top political officials here. And since President Yoon Suk Yeol has been in office, which has been slightly over half of his 5-year term, he has seen about 22 calls for impeachment. And right now, the main opposition party had also called for the impeachment of some of his top officials, some of his ministers, the top prosecutors, for not investigating the First Lady. And so he was under a lot of pressure here. And that's why a lot of experts that we had spoken to earlier had said that they were worried that there were going to be some kind of a chaos, more people getting out in the streets, perhaps sometime next year. But nobody had really expected President Yoon Suk Yeol to go ahead with this martial law that he imposed late last night. Right now, we haven't heard anything from him, so it's difficult to say what is going to happen next. But definitely those protesters and South Koreans in general that I've spoken to have said that he should not be in office. He is not, he doesn't have that right to be in office because he just really created this chaos overnight here in South Korea. And so we'll have to wait and see. And I think the local media, and so are we, waiting to see if President Yoon Suk Yeol has anything to say more about this and why he had to impose that martial law in South Korea. But so far, it seems like the protests will be going on, and we'll be watching over this throughout the day.